Okay, listen. I have a bit of a problem. And that problem is I read a lot of webcomics. I mean, a lot. It's not just like manga, it's like colorized, isekai, webtoons, all that stuff that maybe you've seen ads for before, maybe not. So I spend a lot of my free time reading these webcomics. Now I've been doing it for a couple of years now. And I haven't actually counted, but I'm sure it's like well over 200 different comics. If you're looking for some webtoons and webcomics to read and you want some romance in it, you've come to the right place. Now I'm gonna start with 6 webcomics that are specifically in the Webtoon app, and then we're gonna go to 6 of my other kind of third-party webcomics that I love as well. Number 1 on the Webtoon app is called Cursed Princess Club. This is the first webcomic that I ever really got into, I think, or one of the first. It's this really adorable comic that delves into self-acceptance, and it has tropes that it plays on and satires with like classically like pretty anime girls. Oh my gosh, this one can just make flowers bloom in her presence. This one has animals coming into her hair every morning. And there are 3 sisters, 2 of which have the 2 abilities that I just described, and the third of which is like, oh, she's so scary, she looks scary, she has like possums like hiding, nesting in her hair, and it ends up being a situation where like she's this incredibly sweet sister to the family, and they've been so sheltered that they don't know about conventional styles of beauty, so they just love and accept her for who she is. But when they get any type of outside exposure, those walls start to crumble. So this princess meets other princesses who have actual curses on them, and then they're like to be engaged with some other princes from another kingdom, and it just builds and develops from there. But it's really about like this third sister who isn't, you know, in the realm of the conventional beauty standards, and kind of like learning that she doesn't fit what society wants her to fit, and trying to figure out how to accept herself from there. So it's actually got a lot of really wonderful, wholesome, supportive points in it. It's really cute. It's very funny. The 3 sisters have a brother who everybody thinks is a girl at first because he's so effing pretty, and he can taste people's emotions through their food, through their cooking. It's great. Definitely highly recommend. So check that one out. Number 2 on the Webtoon app is The Remarried Empress. Now, this is one that my sister actually showed me after she got into some webcomics. And this is all about a woman who learns that her husband, the emperor of the country, has taken in this beautiful woman who is like, you know, enslaved, and then they kind of like have a fling, and then he knocks her up and she's like, oh my God. But she always tries to maintain her composure, and then he's like, I'm gonna divorce her to marry this woman for the sake of the baby. But all she knows is that she's gonna get divorced, and so she plans to remarry a king from another country, and he like totally falls for her. I don't want to give too much away throughout these different plot summaries, but that is an awesome one. It's really cool to be able to get into the female lead's head about why she acts the way she does, the things that she's doing for her country, the way she wants to look out for her people, and how she makes decisions on who she keeps close to her. It's great. By the way, I love all of the art in all of the webtoons I'm recommending. I'm kind of picky when it comes to the art in these, and so you're gonna have at least a decent, if not really nice quality art style. Number 3 in the Webtoons app is Not So Shoujo Love Story. Now this is one of my favorites because it's so freaking funny. It's very funny in my opinion. This is a really cute like girl love story where this girl reads so much manga that she thinks that she is like the female lead in and is gonna have her blooming romance with the boy at the school that everybody loves. But when she gets face to face with who she thinks is her rival, which is like the girl that everybody's obsessed with at the school, the girl ends up falling for her and tries to impress upon her the whole time. There's a lot of poop jokes. There's a lot of like hilarious kind of like slang mixed in, and all kinds of really funny stuff that go on. Also, the male lead is called Handsome Ochinchin. But it's great. It's very funny. It's charming, and I can't wait for the next season to come out. It is mid-season. Number 4 on the Webtoon list is called Let's Play. tell you how much I love this comic. This is made by one of the artists who worked on some of Markiplier's old like banners and things. So you can see one of her male leads characters looks like he's very heavily inspired by Markiplier. He definitely has his own personalities and things that differentiate him. But the comic is essentially about a girl who works for her dad's company, but she's also an aspiring game developer, makes this game, and the Mark-esque character plays her game but plays it wrong, and so his viewers bomb her game, and it's like, she's like really upset about it. And then guess who moves next door to her? Also, there's a really hot guy who works in her office who really wants to support her, and then I don't know and then there's this guy that she's been friends with for a long time who's really cute, who works at the coffee shop, and so it's like, ooh, maybe she's gonna get close with one of them. Maybe she's gonna finally have some like sexual awakening because that's all new for her. The other thing about her is that she has like heavy amounts of like anxiety and things like that. So it's a lot about her learning to push past those limits and become more confident in herself, which I love. So also funny, good, and I love the imagery that the artist uses when it comes to like showing people's emotions. Number 5 on the Webtoon app is a comic called Raven Saga. This is made by an artist that I followed on Instagram for years, and I love them. Their work is so cute. And when I learned that they were doing a webcomic on Webtoon, I was like, I'm reading it day one, let's go. It didn't advertise itself as a romance comic. It was more in the fantasy department. But there's really adorable romance in it, and so I'm loving it so far. It's very like fairy tale related, so you'll see some kind of fairy tale like characters, and it's great. It's really cool. Even when you think the story is fairly predictable, moments will come up and new things will be introduced that keep you guessing. Number 6 on the Webtoon app, this is my last one for Webtoon specifically, is Swimming Lessons for a Mermaid. Now this is one of the ones I'll be talking about that's fully finished, so you can just binge it from start to finish if you want to. But this comic is all about a girl who's surprised actually a mermaid, but she gets caught by one of the boys on the swim team. He is a super good, wholesome person and feels bad for her and decides he wants to teach her how to swim. But yeah, it's great, and a really fun one. It's also like really lighthearted. It's just got like, it's one of those comics you read when you're just so happy to get through it. You're like, oh my God, I love it so much. It's so nice. All the beats and steps are good, and you're just gonna be happy. It's just gonna make you happy. So recommend this one for sure. Let's move on to the comics that are not on the Webtoon app. These are more third-party ones. You can find them on different sites. Number 1 on the non-Webtoon comics I want to recommend is called I'll Save This Damn Family. Why I love it is because the female lead is dragged into another universe. It's one of those isekai, so otherworldly. She's dragged into a novel, I think, that she knows of, that she's read, into a family in this novel that goes to ruin and gets killed. And so her whole goal is to make sure that her family doesn't completely go to ruin because she doesn't want to die. So she has to use her wits and her strength and her courage and her confidence to outsmart other people, to kind of undermine the people in her family who are being really poopy. She goes from being, it's like a heavier character, but over time she's like, I don't feel comfortable in this body. I'm going to take better care of myself. And she works out. She doesn't get super thin, which is something that I love about it. She gets to a healthy weight and she says, I feel strong and this is how I want to stay. And then the prince, who, potentially takes an interest, is also incredibly smart and intelligent and challenges her a lot in that regard. Number 2 on the non-Webtoon comics I want to recommend is called, and this is the title that I know it by, I'm a martial arts villainess, but I'm the strongest. Don't let the name fool you. Some of these comics with their English names are so strange, but they're really good. I love the art in this one. I think it's beautiful. And it's about a girl who is transported into another person's body who is a villainess. This is a very common trope, by the way, in a lot of these comics, especially the otherworldly ones, the isekai, where people turn into the villainess of the story and then no longer want to be the villainess. So this girl is brought into a story where she is in the villainess's spot, engaged to somebody through like pressure and probably extortion somehow. So she breaks off the engagement. She tries to essentially exonerate her character and put her in a better light. As she's doing that, of course, like she gets extra super strong because she's in a martial arts family. There's like some cool fights in there. You see her get like super mega strong. The love interest is also super mega strong. And there's some really cool stuff that happens all around that. So if you want really nice art and some martial arts things, definitely recommend. Number 4 on the non-webtoon recommendation is called Who Made Me a Princess? This is one of the earlier comics that I actually read. It is, again, a girl transported into the body of another girl from a story she knows. However, this time she's transported as a baby. And so it's like an adult's mind in a baby's body who knows her future. And so she wants to change it. She's like the daughter of a king who lost their mom. And so she thinks that she'll just grow up and he'll kill her. And so she's like, I don't want that to happen. And so she ends up kind of bonding with the king instead. And then there are love interests on the side. The art is awesome for this one. It's like really over the top anime eyes, but I love it. And I think that the costuming in this one is really pretty. And there's magic. Number 5 on the non-webtoon list is called A Business Proposal. Now this one is actually not isekai, which is good. And it is completed. Who Made Me a Princess is also a completed webcomic. A Business Proposal is a girl from a prominent family, doesn't want to go on another blind date. She hates being set up, so she convinces her friend to go instead, who meets with a guy who happens to accidentally be her boss. He goes in and decides that I don't care, whoever the next person I go on a date with is the person I'm going to marry, just so that people will leave me alone. So he continues after this girl, even when she tries to be like awful on their first date, because he's like, I'm gonna marry you no matter what. And guess what? Then he's like, oh, she's actually really cute. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're like this really hot CEO. Everybody in that comic is gorgeous. So if you want like eye candy comic with good romance elements, this is the one for you. Number 6, and last and not least on my list for this video, is called Dr. Elise, Lady with the Lamp. This is another completed webcomic that I read back in my early days of webcomics, and another really good one. It is a villainess who dies young by the hands of the prince that she loves, and then is reborn in the modern era, tries to then like make up for her past crimes and become a doctor to help save people, then dies again young in the modern era and gets reborn as her old self with all of her current medical knowledge. And she decides to, instead of being a villainess in her old body, say, hey, I want to be a doctor. And of course, because she's born in more like a noble era, that's when she was living previously, everybody's like, you're gonna what? And nobody believes her, so she has to prove herself. And then the prince takes a notice in her instead of being really disgusted with her, and things develop there. Love the redemption arc and seeing you baffle people with your medical knowledge. It's awesome. And then again, the romance elements are great. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my recommendations. Please let me know if you check any of them out, or if you've read them before. I would also love to know that. Let me know if you want more. I've literally read hundreds of webcomics. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I've read a lot, and I'm always happy to recommend things to you all. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and look forward for the next one, which should be tomorrow, because it's still the December challenge. You can click on my December challenge playlist if you want to see all the videos I've been putting out this month so far. But thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.